Welcome to Home Means, where the heart of Nevada comes alive. I'm your host, Heather Brown, and this is a place where we uncover the real stories behind the people who make our state extraordinary. From unforgettable adventures to everyday moments that shape us, this podcast is all about the voices, the faces, and the experiences that make Nevada truly unique. Let's dive in and get to the heart of what home means. On today's episode of Home Means, we have Heather Harmon, Executive Director of the Las Vegas Museum of the Arts. Thank you so much for being with me.
Heather, I'm so happy to be here. Not often you get to have a collegial chat with an amazing, dynamic woman that shares your name.
I feel the same way. We were just joking about the Heathers, so we'll just be the Heathers for today.
We'll be the Heathers for today, sans the profane one-liners.
Yes, I mean, that'll be for Home Means After Dark.
Yes, exactly.
I think we should just dig in. Home means, right? When you think of home in Las Vegas, what is the first image or feeling that comes to mind?
When I think of home, Harry Reid International Airport immediately comes to mind. I love landing, seeing dotted lights glittering in the landscape like a shimmering welcome from above. When I see the city outstretched, I know immediately that I am home. Another feeling I love with immeasurable intensity is the wave of heat felt when moving from indoors to outdoors deep in the summer, leaving a blast of cold air condition inside and venturing out into desert temperatures that wash over you like a hot blanket. It's among the most physical sensations of temperatures I've ever experienced, yet I love it.
I love that imagery that you just painted because I know exactly what you're feeling, especially walking out of Harry Reid International when you're on the second floor heading towards your car and the doors open and you get this like gust of wind and tourists will be like, oh, me, I'm like, I'm home. You know, I talk a lot about the airport because we're very lucky. We have such a large airport for a city our size, and it's the lights when you go to fly in, if you sit on the right side of the plane. It's the slot machines as soon as you walk through the terminal, and it's that heat. It's like the perfect trifecta that's like, I'm really home.
And I love the sound of the slot machines, the jingling and tingling, and really the sounds of joy that I feel are so unique to growing up here and are among the things where I feel really familiarly home in very physical ways.
Yeah. It is funny how if we fly into some of the A terminal where you're not quite in and then you walk in, and it's not until I hear do I really feel like I am home. So I 100% get this. I think it's being from here, right? You grew up going downtown into the Strip, and it was just part of your everyday life when you were venturing down on the Strip. So I love that as adults we can. That's a honing beacon.
It's a conjuring.
How did growing up in Las Vegas shape your love for all art and culture?
I really associate my appreciation for color and extremes with the Las Vegas landscape. Really, the visual and architectural language is so sophisticated. Desert sunsets, neon lights, vast, immense sky as far as you can see, contrasted by the rich red tones that surround us. All of these elements informed how I see and process visual information. And our visual landscape is complex. You have signs and signifiers and world architecture and everyday life all sharing a landscape. So the ability to look and separate and identify and code and decode all of those references, I think for me, created a very sophisticated sense of looking.
Yeah, there wasn't just greenery. There wasn't just desert. We did have that juxtaposition of the neon lights, but then the mountains, and then you go to a park. And I totally, and I love the way you describe this too, because I am visualizing my own childhood growing up and going to Lorenzi Park, or going out to Lone Mountain, which was like so far away. And then obviously going down the strip as a child, being like, wow, this is, and it's the same lust and love that I still feel for the city. It's like, wow, this is gorgeous, and it's so wonderful that I get to call it home. And I really like the way you painted that.
Well, you have the coexistence of all these complexities, everything juxtaposed and butting up against each other. And there's something really beautiful. Like, it seems simple. Is it simple to recreate the Eiffel Tower? No, it is not. Is it simple to recreate the canals of Venice? No, it is not. There's something beautifully authentic about our landscape. It's not an ironic depiction of the Eiffel Tower, it's a reverent one. And so I love that you have a landscape with all of these layers that provide such an opportunity to be a viewer, to be someone who looks and absorbs and processes all of these different influences in one place, in one small geography.
And to your point, it just feels natural. It doesn't feel forced.
No.
It feels like it's always been there. And it's actually really special, because I'm not sure any other place in the world could get away with it and get away with it so well.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So you've had quite the career working in New York, Los Angeles, abroad. How does Las Vegas compare when it comes to building a museum of the scale?
I think each city comes with its own nuances, values, and communities. For site-specific projects, as often cultural institutions are, knowing and reflecting and staying attuned to audience is really essential. Understanding the pulse of a place and the hopes and dreams of its people are principles that really strengthen the foundation of an art museum that works in service of those it most values. So for the Las Vegas Museum of Art, it's the 2 million plus residents that make daily magic for millions and millions of people. They govern the unseen architecture that guides the visitor experience and maintains our complex, expertly engineered hospitality system that makes us feel so welcoming. That's the community that we build a museum for.
And it's funny because some people would think our hospitality was built for other people. We're the best in the world to do it because we have so many visitors. But it is just who we are as a community. We are a hospitality forward community. Growing up, you had hospitality workers who were friends' parents. So you learned hospitality at a young age, visiting someone's house. And so it's funny that you say it like that, is because we are a complex 2.4 million people that live here, all walks of life, all socioeconomic backgrounds, all different corners of the world. They all converge here in Las Vegas, and an art museum has to reflect that and have an ability to show an interest and like capture people's attention.
Look at how beautiful our hospitality system makes people feel. You feel so welcome when you're here. People ask you, are you okay? And they mean it. You have a real level of care and concern that permeates through the working culture of Las Vegas. And so already art museums are institutions that care about people. Part of your values are rooted in love and community and belonging. So as we look at building a museum in a city like Las Vegas, we want to build the most hospitable, welcoming museum in the world. And we're really lucky to have found an extraordinary match in our architect, Francis Carré, because he really shares our values.
It's nice when you have somebody who isn't just going to do the job, but really buys into the vision and understands where you're coming from, especially in a place like Las Vegas, right? This is a city where we don't just do what other people do and do it better. We change the dynamic. We push the envelope. We talk a lot about on this podcast how we're very innovative in our nature, and we test bed a lot of technology and art installation, and just how do the two things actually go together. I mean, the Las Vegas Boulevard is a beautiful example of that.
Beautiful example.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about how the Las Vegas art scene has gone through different waves over the year. And why do you think this moment is possibly different?
I think for us at the Las Vegas Museum of Art, it's really about the timing and Elaine Wynn's support and her early leadership and the quality level of partnerships we have achieved with our partnership with the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, LACMA, the state of Nevada, and the city of Las Vegas. All of these factors have contributed to our early successes. And so I really think it's those two key elements, the timing and the partnerships, that opened up the space for us to be very successful in these early stages of our journey.
I've always really appreciated Elaine and her foundation and how they have been so community focused, and what a major loss for our community. But I'm so glad that another piece of her legacy will live on through this, because I just, when you really start to unpack who she was and what she cared about, this is just another, this just makes sense. This museum just makes sense. So that's so wonderful. Okay, well, Las Vegas is known around the world for its world of entertainment. And where do you see a world class art museum fitting into that identity?
Absolutely right. Las Vegas is no stranger to world class entertainment and talent. We've been bringing it since our inception. But it also has a long-standing art community, as you referenced in your experience in Leadership Las Vegas, and certainly in my experience in the art department at UNLV, where I still remain really involved with my alma mater. There are artists here. There are collectors here. And when I think of key members of the community, and I think of Elaine, she did so much to bring arts and culture to our great city. And the future Las Vegas Museum of Art will fit right into this bigger picture, but the seeds have been planted.
Yeah, and I love that you brought up UNLV, because so many themes that have been brought up all goes back to education. It obviously people have natural talent, but if you're able to have a world class education that really expands upon your natural talent, I think I love watching what our students perform. Just what they paint, what they perform, musical instruments. I love going to every single one of these types of shows, because it shows a different expression of who they are, and it comes out in so many different ways. There's not a one size fits all with art, and I think that's kind of why it's so necessary for such a multicultural city like us.
There is an amazing collective of extraordinary young people in our community called Scrambled Eggs. And they have mounted an exhibition currently at the Sahara West Library called Home is a Place Inside My Throat. And it's an amazing depiction of those that graduated at UNLV, some that have taught at UNLV, artists in our community, artists that work in architecture, graphic design. And this collective has brought this amazing spirit to Las Vegas. So when you go to an opening, as the LVMA team did last Thursday, we were able to celebrate with a variety of generations and people from all walks of life. And I've always felt that art is a great bridge and that great connector of people in different communities, because you have that place of expression. And it is rooted in expression and opportunity. And UNLV has created some amazing spaces and places and platforms for artists to connect not only with one another, but to other people that are interested in what they do and in other art fields.
Well, and the way you say that, it's a form of expression, because not everybody feels comfortable standing in front of a mic and saying what they need to do. Some of it will be on a canvas, some of it will be on a dance studio, some of it will be through music.
Or karaoke, how we express ourselves at the LVMA.
That's wonderful. Please invite me. I I love a karaoke. But more important, I think it's fun to have themed nights. I'm trying this salon style events where very curated, either dinner party or happy hour, 68 people. And I just think that there's some needed, yeah, everybody can go to events and we go to plenty of
We
events.
go to plenty of
But
events.
I want to be more intentional with how I hang out with people and where I spend my time. And I used to do this in DC. And so it's something I very much want to have much more intentionality. And maybe it's a theme, maybe it's just, hey, I know you six people would like each other. So I'll invite you.
Thank you. I would love that. And even an opportunity to explore a topic. Something I find really generative and generous about our community in particular is that we have an amazing generation right now of people in leadership. And it's in the education space, it's in the art space, it's in the healthcare space, it's in the government affairs space. So we have a lot of people that are very connected over shared love of our community and shared goals. And so I think now, in speaking of timing, now is a particularly fruitful moment where people are really connecting with each other. And you're finding people who are doing extraordinary things, like Sean Parker is an amazing example in the Center for Future Learning. I can't even count the number of times I've referenced it in the course of the last few months, just knowing what's on the horizon for us, knowing what we have to look forward to, and how supportive this community is of one another in leadership.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We are in such a special time where you're seeing a renaissance in the way people engage with our community. It's not just, look, I will say this time and time again, this community is special. If you do good things and you put boots on the ground and you're wanting to get your hands dirty, they will embrace you and they will uplift you. But it is nice to see almost a rebirthing of the way we are approaching community. And I think it's Sean is an amazing example, and his co-founder Janine. They're really not just saying, "Hey, our center is the only way to do it." They're embracing talking to the state and the CCSD and making sure that the communication that or making sure that their profile of a Nevada learner is something that everybody can accept and not just the select few who get to go through their program.
And it's up to us as friends and leaders to fill the gap, to understand where we are together as a community. And museums always are education forward. They're built on principles of education and extended learning and communication and fostering dialogue. And so we want to deeply understand where we fit and how we can help and how we can participate as an institution, and where are the gaps. Is it going to schools? Is it programming? Is it engaging teachers? And so it's always important for us to stay connected to the other nonprofit leaders and government leaders in our community, so we know what we can do and we know what we do well. We are the arts organization, but we're not the only answer.
Yeah.
It's about all of us working collectively.
Well, and making sure that art continues to be part of the dialogue.
Yes.
Because we already know AI obviously is a big topic for everybody at the moment. What do we do? How do we use it? What's ethically AI versus, at the end of the day, art still needs to come from your imagination and your creativity and your ability to dream and have that be produced in whatever avenue that transpires. But this is the one place where maybe AI at some point will have ancillary help to improve whatever art, blah blah blah. But it's still going to take a human being creative and wanting to show their expression of who they are as a person. And I think this is the one place where the stickiness and the connectivity and the ability to have a human to human conversation, art has to be at the basis of that. And so obviously no pressure. but you got a lot. You got a very important role to play in the community to make sure, because you are right. You go into a museum and you want to feel something and you want to get connected. And as you go deeper into a museum or you follow, from one gallery to the next, you want to make sure that you're expressing or you're feeling the art, but also being able to express how that made you feel. And um, yeah, I go to museums all over the place. I love being able to walk away being like, that touched me. I learned something. I want to go back, or I took a photo and I'm going to remember it. So
That's art doing its job.
yeah. Is there a particular artwork that you think really captures the spirit of Las Vegas?
For me, it's Michael Heiser's City, a monumental artwork in the Nevada desert. I feel like building a place of magic and mystery in a remote location harkens back to the very origins of Las Vegas.
I like your answer better because when I was thinking about this, I was like, the Las Vegas sign, of course.
The Las Vegas sign is incredibly important.
Yeah.
And it's not just important because it is welcome to fabulous Las Vegas. It is important because of Betty Willis. And Betty Willis was the designer of the Welcome to the Fabulous Las Vegas sign. And she was also the designer of the hot, hot, hot pink Moulin Rouge sign, which is currently on view at the Neon Museum. And she's an under-recognized female graphic designer that is of this community, that is of this place, that dedicated her life to shaping a creative space in Las Vegas and is largely under-recognized for her achievements. So any opportunity to lift up Betty Willis and her legacy is as welcome as the Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign.
They do mention that when you go through the tour, but I feel like you need to narrate it because that made me more excited. And I love that. I think it's her handwriting.
Yes,
The Moulin Rouge.
It's so extraordinary.
And it's a gorgeous. I love to stand back and I try and get as on my tippy toes. And I put my hand all the way up to try and get the full sign at an
Which
angle.
Is so hard.
Yeah. But it is, I love the Neon Museum. And I think it's a really special place where we've captured and will always remember the early neon lights that made us who we are.
Yes.
So
I agree.
I tease about the neon sign, but I am glad to shout out and recognize Betty because I think this is... it is a piece of our history that does not get told well.
Yeah.
They talk about the legends that built, and it's all men, which we appreciate them, but we were there too. And so it's nice to put a little spotlight on some of the incredible women that have shaped to this day. That neon sign is the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. It's one of the most iconic photos tourists come to take, and I'm even guilty of going down there from time to time because it's gorgeous.
They change the lights on special occasions, so sometimes it's never even the same.
I know. I've even bought the light bulbs before because I love something kitschy, but I love it. No, and I think it's really great that we've utilized that sign to honor different heritage months and different cool things that are happening. I think that is just another way that we're bringing it full circle to show that Las Vegas community is Las Vegas. And, this is the iconic thing that everybody knows, but we live here 365 and we make up the surrounding, not just the Las Vegas Boulevard. So I think it's a settled touch that the county commissioners continuously bring community onto Las Vegas Boulevard. So if you could invite any artist living or no longer with us to create something just for this museum, who would you choose and why?
I thought about this a lot because there's so many artists I'm excited to engage for the museum. Mm-hmm. But someone I think about often and go back to is the surrealist artist Rene Magritte. And the painter, he painted so many dreamy images, often positioning mundane, everyday, and familiar objects into new and strange situations. A pipe, a hat, an apple. But his beautiful puzzles question reality and even our notion of what is real. And I love that idea juxtaposed in Las Vegas. I was interviewed by a journalist recently who said, well, Las Vegas isn't a real city. And I was like, wait a minute. But what defines a real city? And I didn't get an answer to that question. And I love the idea that we play with, we're very playful in our architecture and in our iconography. And I go back to these references of, you know, the Arc de Triomphe on Las Vegas Boulevard and the New York, and the roller coaster and the Excalibur and the Luxor, these influential spaces of sincerity. I've always felt that there is an authenticity to Las Vegas that is really extraordinary. And I think a lot about surrealism and the surrealist landscape. And so Renee Magritte is an artist I think of often when I think of who I'd like to bring and show in Las Vegas. And another is Jenny Holzer. I remember before I knew who Jenny Holzer was, she's an artist that looms large in my own personal history and has been very influential on me and my trajectory personally. In the 90s, she took over the billboards of Caesar's Palace, and on the marquee it said, "Protect me from what I want." And this was a series that she had done called Truisms. And I remember seeing "Protect Me from What I Want" and just being so struck by the simplicity of the language and it on the Caesars billboard. And then years later, for her retrospective catalog at the Guggenheim, that sign in the Las Vegas landscape is the cover of the Guggenheim catalog. And I love the idea of inviting her back to do something.
Oh my
at the
gosh,
Las Vegas
I got
Museum of
goosebumps.
Art.
I love that. Protect me from what I want. That brings up so much imagery, and I would love. I'm gonna look that up when.
Oh, good. I'll
yeah.
send you a picture,
Please
and
do.
I'll find the catalog too.
No, please do, because, and I love that art can do that, right? It's something that you said in the 90s, the 80s, 30 years ago, and yet we can sit here and talk about it, and it can have a whole new life because I've never heard of it. Now I'm gonna go look at it. I love the imagery that brings up because, I don't know which direction she took it, but my brain starts to spin and say, oh, what do I need to be protected of that I love, right? And like, how deep can that go? And I think that's the best part about art is that there is no right answer, and you and I could have very different reactions towards it, and 30 years later, it's still asking the same question from somebody. It's like, how do you feel about me?
Yeah.
And I want to go talk to this reporter who says that we're not a real city. I'm very confused what makes a real city, because we got 2.4 million people, the 5th largest school district, 46 million visitors that come here every year. We've got art museums.
If we're not, I don't know what is.
That's right. Say less, okay?
Protect me from that reporter.
But here's the thing, that just tells me that we have to do a better job at telling our story.
Well, and I think it's, I'm always very generous. I feel like we're in one of the most incredible moments of our history. We're at a time in history where we are facing outward, and the world is looking at us, and we're doing a spectacular job. We're really coming into our own, and we're coming into our maturation, and we're growing into our next chapter. We are such a young city, and we have accomplished so much. And so I hope that what we can do in our work and what we can encourage others to do is to celebrate Las Vegas, is to really feel our accomplishments, feel what we've disseminated out into the world, and to understand how to not only message it, but how to shout it from the rooftops, because we're doing a great job.
We're doing a great job. And, we are a global brand. There's very few cities that can hold a candle to Las Vegas when it comes to a globally recognized brand for just being a city. It's not one thing that made us that. And we reinvent ourselves every single day. I keep going back to the fact that we could welcome F1, another global brand. And, look what it did for our economic input, but also just the fact that we could have a race down Las Vegas Boulevard. What city could do that? The NFL? They had the Super
love
Bowl.
talking about that. We had the Super Bowl.
We had
did such a good job.
Yes. With the most successful Super Bowl, profitable Super Bowl in NFL history.
High five to that.
Hell yeah. And just a few years ago, the NFL didn't want anything to do with us. But again, we changed the NHL, right? We had the Vegas Golden Knights. We have this
women's basketball, the Aces.
Back-to-back champions, the first one to bring a championship to the state. But we just constantly reinvent the wheel. And we constantly reinvent who we are as a community. And it makes me really proud to be from here, where we lead with innovation and we lead with yes. And we have so much to be proud of, and we have so many amazing things to show for it. And we're going to prove that reporter wrong.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to answer the question because we're going to be so right.
And we're going to be so evolved, and we're going to continue to evolve. And that's our work. That's the work of our generation. That's the work that we need to do to preserve the legacy of everything that came before us, to do our work in the present, and to build for the future. Yeah. That's the work that we do, that we are responsible for doing and accountable.
And this theme has come up quite a bit on the podcast, where it's some cities look to their past. I was just in Boston. They celebrate, 450 years, blah, blah, blah. And I love that for them. And they have so much history, every corner. But for us, we don't have that history. We're 120 years old as a city, and we've reinvented ourselves 5 times. And we're going to continue to do it. And we just want to say yes because we want to be the best. We don't want to copy anybody. And I'm more proud of that sentiment because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm excited about change. I'm excited that we want to embrace the next thing, and we're not just stuck in our ways. I have never been told once, well, that's not how we do it here. Never, not once. And how amazing is that?
Mm-hmm.
It makes me so proud. It makes me so proud to be a native Las Vegan because I get to say I'm from a place that says yes.
Yes.
Well, I have really enjoyed our conversation. Do you want to get into a little bit of rapid fire?
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite local restaurant?
Casa Playa at Wynn. They have an extraordinary, young, innovative, wild female chef we can all be proud of.
Love this. What's a must-visit spot for newcomers?
Esther's Kitchen. You'll see a lot of will probably be food themed.
What's your best outdoor activity?
Wild Horse Canyon Loop. It's right before you get to the entrance to Red Rock.
Mm-hmm. Hidden gem in Southern Nevada.
Not only hidden gem, also favorite place, Paul Williams Guardian Angel Cathedral.
I've never been. What's a go-to coffee shop?
Public Us, hands down, always. Carrot cake forever.
It's one of my favorites. Stop
so
it.
So good. Frosting.
Favorite place to unwind?
Writer's Block.
Best view in the city?
The Legacy Club at Circa Hotel. That view is amazing.
Favorite thing to do on a weekend?
Matinee at the Beverly Theater, where we met.
That's right.
Look at us.
Full circle.
Full circle.
One must-have experience for visitors?
Oscar's Steakhouse at the Plaza Hotel.
Yes. And what's a most underrated perk of living in Nevada?
All the people that call Las Vegas home.
I couldn't agree more. Including you, ma'am.
And you.
No, I've really enjoyed our conversation, and I just get so excited when we can, highlight the good things happening, but more importantly, have a shared, camaraderie around wanting art to be part of our everyday vernacular and being able to point out the fact that we are such a beautiful mosaic, and there's so many opportunities for people to feel art and experience art, and the museum's just going to be another example of that.
Thank you.
You got it. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of the Home Means community. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share with a friend, and check out our Nevada-inspired merch at homemeanspodcast.com. We'll be back soon with another story about the people who make Nevada feel like home. In the meantime, thank you for being part of the Home Means community.